Hello folks, and welcome to another edition of Bluffers to Buffers. I'm Bob.
And I'm Ben, and it's all started, Bobby, but in this episode, look, we've got first of all an explosion with our new logo in it.
Boom!
And what I thought I'd do is like hand over to you now to find out what you've been up to.
Yeah, so...
Obviously you've done those bits. I had a email from Dwayne.
We have opened the box and it's wicked. So...
It's progress, I suppose.
This week is out the window, but next week I'm going to, as said, rearrange boxes of stuff and we're going to paint some bits. And But to be fair, you've ripped it all up and I don't really feel part of it anymore.
Well, you're very much part of it, Bob.
You keep saying that, but words are cheap. Do you know what I mean? You're out there, week off work, left me on my own. Oh, I'm doing my railway.
I didn't say it like that, for starters.
And I'm like, oh, right, okay. And all of the, you know, I have to see what's going on via the social medias. I don't even know what's going on firsthand.
Right, okay, well, what we'll do then, since you haven't done anything, is we will we'll have a look.
I'll throw it back that way, is it?
Yeah, we will have a look at, if I can make this record.
Okay.
Options, there we go. Just where we're at with it. So, as you just mentioned, I had a few days off work. Construction has begun, but I thought I'd just run you through, I don't know if I showed you this last time. This is what you get as part of the thing that Steve...
You didn't look at the baseboards, no?
No, so he basically showed me his suggested mock-up of the baseboards, taking into account where point motors, etc. are going to be, or points are going to be.
Okay.
So that's the lower level. I've pretty much everything except this board and those triangles are in on the lower level.
Okay. That doesn't look like an awful lot of space left in your shed.
It's even less when you look at the upper level.
What?
As we were talking about earlier, this is the lower board, so that's the scenery bit there, and then this is all upper level baseboards, of which that's our original one from with the yard, as it were.
Yeah, okay.
But there are gradients coming up and around the outside and cutting in across here.
Okay.
And that board I already had made anyway, so I've got two out of the upper ones.
Wow.
Yeah, it took a lot longer than expected. So obviously, this is you then see where your tracks.
Lower?
That's the lower, yeah, where your tracks are going to be. So there's
Okay.
a stationary jobby there. We'll worry about that in weeks to come. But just sort of show
Remind
you
ourselves,
all the sort of stuff you get with when you getting Steve to do it. So
it's comprehensive, isn't it?
Yeah, and also I've had printed A0 sheets with the track 1-to-1 size.
Yeah.
So you put the sheets down on the baseboard and you know exactly where the track's going to be. You know 100% that it's all going to fit and cushy pop. So we'll look at that again in a bit as well. But this is all part of it. 20 odd sheets of whatever
20?
paper. I felt like a building contractor on a
Did you have a rolled under your arm?
Yes, and a funny little pencil behind my ear. And one of those 80s like really big phones. I don't know why I had one of them, just for the sake of it.
Turn up in an E30 and wearing red braces.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, I did. So that's that. And now, if obviously I put you on the spot a bit there, so we'll stop that and we will now go into the video proper because I've set you up a little bit there. So these are the things you think about when you're alone building a model railway. How
to mug your mate up?
Do you know
what I mean?
Basically, yeah. It got me through. So here we go. We're off. So a bit of time lapse for you here. This is where I started basically. Do
you remember when there used to be a model railway there?
Yeah. You have to forgive the tracksuit bottoms. I'm sorry. It's a rule of mine not to be seen in public with tracksuit bottoms on, but
that's right. Just put it on the internet for our
so brilliant
3 people that follow us.
Yeah,
can see
it.
It.
We've just knocked over 700, so at this point I'd just like to say thanks everyone. I'm having a bit of trouble with the waistline.
I was going to say
they're from back when I was more portly.
Nice bit of white paint.
Yeah, it was so much brighter in there from doing that.
So it's brighter when you paint the floors and walls. It tends to work.
So essentially, what I'm doing here is just putting the framework in that the baseboards will sit on, which is just nothing special. Just 3x2 PAR timber. I don't know what the PAR bit stands for.
Did you start feeling claustrophobic at any point?
A little bit, but I went for lunch there. So I was just trying because I had the ply cut by a local hardware store, cut to all the different sizes that I knew I would need. And there we go, I'm making the baseboards using 2x1 timber batons. And what I thought about, should we do a how to build a baseboard? Or actually I thought, no, there's enough information about that on the internet. So as you'll see in a minute, what I've done is my top 5 tips to making a baseboard.
Oh, wow.
And it's useful information, I think, because it's worked for me. You know, not everyone's going to say this is how you do it, but it worked for me.
You got some comprehensive tools there, though.
Yeah, well, from building the extension, so really, that is good glue as well. It's expanding wood glue, so it really, really good.
Oh, right.
I recommend that type of glue highly, as opposed to like a PVA type wood glue. So that's it, finished. And now let's transition to the next scene. Baseboard building, top 5 top tips by Bluffers to Buffers. First of all, have 2 of stuff.
Right.
The reason for this, Bob, I can't tell you how many times, especially if you're cutting your wood away from the actual main job, how many times I was in and out of the shed because I'd left the tape measure or the pencil over on the workmate. Literally in and out. So in the end, I had 1 tape measure and pencil at the...
That would annoy me immensely.
At the workspace, and 1 tape measure and pencil inside the shed. So
did you ever accidentally bring one to the other, though?
No. Once, because I'd spent most of the day doing it. Right, tip 2, get one of these cheap mitre blocks for cutting your batons in. It makes so much difference in trying to do it by eye on your pencil line. Because it just gives you your straight 90 cut in all planes, so there's no danger of going off on a tangent, which is so even if you've pencil marked it and you're doing it nice and slowly.
You really have done this properly, haven't you?
I actually have this time.
Yeah, really.
And these little really thin nib pencils are really useful as well, the clicky ones I used to have at school, and you lose all the... Now that mitre block came with this saw on the left, which is the saw you're supposed to use, tenon saw I think it's called.
Right.
But I didn't get on with it at all. Rubbish. So I used this saw.
The big saw.
Which was better because it was more big.
More big?
Yeah, there it is, looking sad and forlorn. But I just couldn't get on with it. It's the right saw to use, but it just was... so it just went on the floor. So tip 3, very valuable tip, is cut on the waist side of the line that you've marked. So don't cut through the actual pencil line. I've done that for years, and what I've done now is just cut on the waist side of the line.
Right.
That gives you room for error then, because you can sand it down afterwards if you need to, but 9 times out of 10, actually, it's exactly where it needs to be.
I like the way you blew the dust away.
Well, yeah. But there we go, it's going to be a nice straight cut. The mitre block was, I don't know, £4, something like that.
Really?
Yeah, not expensive. Worth every penny for building a baseboard.
Or anything else that you need to cut
any other woodwork, yeah. Or, for 90, 45-degree angles and all that caper.
Can you do a 180?
You can do this. See this one down the bottom corner? That's good for coving for the in your ceilings.
Yeah.
Tip number 4: drill a pilot hole before screwing. Previously, I've just gone straight in with your self-tapping screw. Much split wood.
Yes.
No one likes split wood. So a pilot hole. That's just for the benefit of the camera there. Just perfect every time. And a little thumbs up. Just say we've sorted it. We've sorted it. Pilot hole. And as mentioned before, that wood glue is the bad boy to use. So it's just an expanding wood glue.
You just get that from the hardware store.
Yeah. It sticks better and it's just better to work with. Now, historically, I've put the batons underneath the board for reinforcement in whilst building the baseboard. But this time what I've done is place the track where it's going to be, so we can see that the reinforcing batten that sits under the board, the line of those screws, isn't going to affect where the point motor or wiring needs to go.
Right, yeah, that's good.
So
is that not been planned out with the...
Steve didn't do that, but you could have done it from the plans, but I wanted to do this properly right the first time, so I literally placed the track. The track, we'll come to it, probably not this video, the next one, up and down a couple of 3 times. But then it's right, you know what I mean? So now, another brilliant thing, which I've never done before, and I'm glad I have now, is paint the baseboards like a light grey. You can see how much lighter it is in there again already. didn't even do my hair. I'm wearing tracksuit bottoms and I didn't do my hair. Terrible state of affairs.
I feel sad for you. I feel like maybe I need to put some money in a bucket for you, mate.
If you could, I'd have a couple of £100 would be nice.
I've got your mystery box full of bits though.
Yeah, well, that's exciting. We'll cover that hopefully
Another
next
day.
week. Yeah. So I think this is the end of day 2. Look, I've cut that wooden post. I just chopped that.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't structural, so it's fine. So yeah, it's a lot. I felt more tired. Look at that. I felt more tired after doing 2 days of this than I did after being at work for 2 days. You know what I mean? And I don't exactly sit around here, so.
No.
So printed out all my paperwork. So much paperwork with this build, but you know, reminded me of doing my extension at home. Project managing that, which was lots of paperwork and plans and what have you. But actually, same as with that, you can see it all coming together.
Whoa! They're the ones.
Yeah, A0 sheets.
Oh my word!
Look at them. And that's just for the lower level.
What?
Funny enough, my dad, when he dropped in on Friday night, I said, "Do you want to come and have a look?" And he was like, "Well, that's massive." He was like, that's only the bottom layer. So this is the sheets laid out initially. I was just, you know, getting a feel for what's what. I don't know why this light strobes. The LED lights.
Yeah, it's picking it up.
I think it's conflicting with the sunlight because it's never done it before. Anyway, so you know, you can see there already a fair bit of work to be done. This is just one of the storage yards. So the board sits on top of that. And this
So you would never conceive this in your head.
You love this.
What's this?
This is the point. This is the point work that I had to buy. That's just boxes of points.
What?
£20, mate. You know what I mean?
That's
and
mental.
Joiners as well, all the joiners. And that's not including the ones I've recycled from the old layout. So
It's looking quite alright in there now, though, isn't it?
yeah, it is. It's look. I'm so much more pleased with it already than I have been at any point before because it feels there's an end goal. I'm not just building a track aimlessly. There's like I know it's going to work because I've been over it in my head and obviously it's been designed by someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
So there's an end goal, and so I'm a lot more confident in my building abilities than I have been before. Not obviously the designing abilities, but in constructing it. And like I say, I know where I'm going. You can kind of say, well, I'm going to do this bit now and I'll do that bit later. You can kind of get a plan
You
in your
started
mind.
putting your first few bits of track down where you were like... No, I'm saying when you did that,
Yeah.
where you were like,
Yes.
oh, here we go.
Yes, and then this was the best part of an afternoon's work, just to put this section in.
So this is flexible track, is it?
Yeah,
So
I hate the stuff.
Really?
It's all right for doing shallow curves. When you want to do a tight, you know, quite your third radius curve, which is the most any of it is.
And you just cut the track to the length once you got your curve?
Yeah, well, it's not because when you twist it, obviously you get one long bit and one short
Yeah.
bit, and it's you know the next episode I'm going to cover our version of track laying, as in I'm not going to do a step-by-step guide because there's plenty of them on the internet. Just a few tips.
This is how we had to go at it.
And we can discuss it. Now, I've got quite a good method for joining on a corner, which I've not actually seen that many people do, so hopefully it'll be of use to someone. Because the problem is, if you join them parallel, you get a kink, especially if it's on a sharp bit, because all it wants to do is kick out.
Yeah.
I've got a little technique for avoiding that. And this is just... Obviously, I put all the track down, and because we've done it on grey board, where I've pinned it in, you can then take it all up again, and you see the pinholes and put it all back where it came from.
Right, okay.
Because I was concerned about how am I going to transfer these printouts to the board underneath without leaving the printouts
You've done
stuck
dropper
underneath.
wires on every bit of track.
Every single bit of track's got a dropper wire. Again, we'll come to that
That's pretty
in the next
mega, isn't it?
episode. It's a lot of wire.
There's a lot going on there, mate.
But I've also wired it like a car.
Right.
And it makes a lot more sense in fault finding. a problem, because I had a little issue, but because of the way I've wired it up underneath, it's just a case of pull one wire off and it separate, because it's in separate sections. You can sort of eliminate. You can almost like it's into a fuse box, for want of a better word.
Oh right, okay.
Whereas previously I've had the wire and joined all the wires in with Scotch locks and what have you, and if you've got a problem, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
And also what I'm doing this time is, so I've done this section here, and then what I did was, before I went any further, check that it all works, run the locos through it, check for any shorts or whatever, then move on to the next bit, wire that bit, come back, test it all again. So there's not going to be the stress of, I've done this whole thing and now we've got to try and find the fault somewhere in the layout. So there's a fault gone into that as well, which is unlike me.
Yeah, but I think you've got...
You learn, don't you? You're learning on the job sort of thing.
I think because there's an £20 in inverted kids in inverted brackets gone into the design and everything. I guess in the back of your head you're thinking, well, I've got to... Yeah. I can't now skimp on bits. It's the same as if you do anything nicely, you've got to do it right.
100%. 100%. See that a little driv? All of them done a work.
Was that you giving it a yay?
Yeah. And this is just a little bit of, so you can see. And that is literally just a storage yard. That's not going to be on show.
Right. Mental.
That's just somewhere to keep some.
So what will you do? Just pin that track straight to the board. No cork underlay.
That is pinned. It doesn't need cork. The cork's for other things. But we'll cover that in a future video. So the next episode, I'm going to just show you some more progress and talk a bit more about how we lay the track. And that's pretty much it for this.
Short and sweet, kind of, isn't it?
Yeah. So
well done, mate.
Do you want to do your bit?
Well, there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. You can carry on following us on YouTube, Bluffers to Buffers, or Facebook, Bluffers to Buffers, or Instagram, Bluffers to Buffers.
There's a bit of a theme there.
Like, subscribe, and please comment, because Ben likes reading me the comments and I like listening to them. I think it's great.
Definitely. Yeah, thanks to everyone who's subscribed so far, and as Bob said, if you like this, something a bit different, please do click that subscribe button and the old notification button so you get notified of when we put some more drivel out there.
Exactly. Exciting times.
Yeah, man. So thanks for watching.
Bye.
See you next time. Bye.